Alan asked, how do you tell a 3 to 6 minute story? Any tips for a short story?
I personally think every story should kind of start similarly. Like it should be able to be told at its core in a very short amount of time. And then kind of you add things to it to give it mood or give it, like montage scenes or any details that you need. So that's something to keep in mind when you're writing. Like it's gonna drag out once you get it into like the filmmaking process. So keep it short in the writing process.
So when working on a story, you have like moments that you really hold dear to your heart, but you actually know from the inside that it's actually not working and not beneficial for your story. So what I would suggest is to take a step back and look at the bigger picture of your story, because that can really help you to become temporarily unattached to the emotional part and make logical decisions whether that scene is really necessary or just basically a nice to have. If you do this, if you are there to change your story and to remove things, that eventually leads to a stronger story.
So I have a question for you. How did you like what process did you go through to remove the scenes that you weren't sure about that you wanted to change? How did you go about doing that?
A lot had to do with carefully listening to the feedback and also accepting the feedback, because those are two different things. If you get feedback, you can read them and be like, sure, whatever, totally believe it. But if you then, that's the danger also, if you then get a lot of feedback from a lot of different people, then you need to decide yourself, what am I going to change and what is not too important. And for me, it eventually also really helped to add a sort of brainstorm partner, and we regularly had calls every week just to talk about each other's stories. And that also really helped to make decisions myself, because at a certain moment you're just really stuck in your story and you don't know anymore what's wrong or what's right. And eventually I just stepped away from my story for like 3 or 4 days. And then I'll try to get back into it with a fresh view, basically.
Yeah.
And these are the things that help quite well, basically.